Hello, today I'm going to go over roster verification teacher tutorial. Once you log into your roster verification, you're going to see a page that looks somewhat similar to this. Roster verification begins on May 9th for the teachers, and I highly recommend you do this sooner rather than later, as when it starts to get to the ending dates, the system slows down to a crawl because everyone else is trying to do the same thing at the same time. For those of you that have done this before, you guys are aware that you know how slow this thing goes once you start to get to the date where it's about to end. So, today I'm going to go through the teacher tutorial. Over on the right side, on the bottom of this page, you will see the same resources I have. Well, not completely. You will see teacher tutorial, teacher quick guide, teacher guide, FAQs. I highly recommend you go through all this documentation as it answers most of the questions you will have regarding roster verification. The teacher tutorial will also be there for you as well. I would recommend you go through it on your own as well to familiarize yourself with the system. So I'm going to go ahead and click on teacher tutorial, and I'm going to walk through the teacher tutorial one time so that way it can be on the Orozco Tutorials website.
In roster verification, you carefully review student rosters for the classes and subjects you taught this school year and confirm they are correct. You can be confident the reports generated from the class rosters are accurate because you provide the data. Click Continue. The first time you log in, you see Expected Classes. This shows the grades and classes included in roster verification this year. Click the red box to close this window and continue. This is your link page. You see the roster verification dates. Teachers complete roster verification during the dates shown. You see your support team members. Contact them if you need help with roster verification. Roster verification resources are on the bottom right. Consult these guides for more information about how to complete roster verification, including local guidelines. The My Linkage page shows a list of your class rosters included in roster verification this school year. Verify this list is correct and complete. Contact your school support team if corrections are needed. You are ready to verify a class roster. Click Actions. Click Begin to review the Integrated English Arts K-3 class. This is a typical class roster page. This page has a section at the top that contains general information. Review this information to make sure it is accurate. Contact your school support team if corrections are needed. There are 3 numbered sections. Look at Section 1, I taught these students. Verify that you taught each student on the class roster. In this example, Derek Armstrong was not in your class this year. Click the gray X to remove his name from the list. Are you sure you wish to remove Derek Armstrong from this roster? Click OK. The deleted students list is at the bottom of the page if you need to restore a student to the roster. Remove students is used to remove multiple students. Are there students missing from this class roster? Click Add Students. We will add Alex Michael to this class roster. For the best search results, type one or more letters of the student's first and/or last names. In this example, we type the letter A in the first name box and MI in the last name box. Click the School drop-down menu. To search the entire school district, select All. Click the Search button. Matching student names appear in a list. Use the student name, student ID number, and grade level to positively identify the student. Click the Add button to add Alex Michael to this class roster. Repeat this process to add additional students to this class roster. The Add Students process must be done separately for each class roster. If a student's name is not found, contact your school support team. Click Return to go back to the class roster page. This completes your work in Section 1. I taught these students. Click to save your changes. Click OK. After saving, you can continue to work on this roster or return later. Section 2, during these months. Use the drop-down menus to show the consecutive months you taught each student. This example is a full year class with the months of instruction from August-September to May-June. The default setting for each student is the full year. Find Casey Birch. He entered your class in November and was in your class until June. In his From column, click the Months menu. Select November. This shows that you taught Casey Birch from November to June. Find Myrtle Elliott. She entered your class in December and left in April. In her From column, click the Months menu. Select December. In her To column, click the Months menu. Select April. This shows that you taught Myrtle Elliott from December to April. This completes your work in Section 2 during these months. Click to save your changes. Section 3 for percent of instruction. If you have questions about determining the percent of instruction in your school district or state, consult the resources or contact your support team. In this example, you are the only English teacher for most of your students. You provide 100% of their English instruction. The drop-down menu in the top row changes all the percentages below. Click the drop-down menu in the top row. Select 100%. All the percentages below change to 100%. Find Andre Foreman. The intervention teacher provides 20% of his English instruction. You provide 80%. Click his percent of instruction drop-down menu. Select 80%. This shows that you provided 80% of Andre Foreman's instruction. Find Gloria Robbins. The gifted teacher provides 40% of her English instruction. You provide 60%. Click her percent of instruction drop-down menu. Select 60%. This shows that you provided 60% of Gloria Robbins' instruction. When you have entered the correct percent of instruction for each student, you are done with Section 3. Click to save your changes. If a student was a member of your class for non-consecutive months, one additional step is needed. Find Miriam Aguilar, the first name on the student list. You taught her in the fall. She transferred to another school district in the winter. You taught her again in the spring. To record her non-consecutive months and percent of instruction, click Enter by Months. Enter by Months combines months and percent of instruction. You taught Miriam Aguilar in August, September, October, and November. You provided 100% of her instruction during those months. Those months are correct. Miriam Aguilar was not in your class for most of December, January, and February. You provided 0% instruction in those months. Click the December 100% box. Click the drop-down menu. Select 0%. This shows that you provided 0% of her English instruction in December. We also changed January and February to show that you provided 0% instruction in these months. She was in your class for most of March, April, May, and June. You provided 100% instruction during those months. Those months are correct. To summarize the entire year, this shows you provided 100% instruction to Miriam Aguilar in August to November and March to June. You provided 0% instruction in the other months. Click Enter by Year to return to the previous view. Enter by Months shows in the percent of instruction column for Miriam Aguilar. You have completed roster verification for this class roster and are ready to submit. Click the Save and Submit button in the lower right. You see the statement of accuracy and completeness. I understand that the data I am submitting will be used to determine academic gains. Therefore, by submitting the data, I attest that it is complete and accurate to the best of my knowledge. Click OK. The status of the Integrated English Language Arts class shows Submitted. A submitted class roster can still be edited during the teacher roster verification period. Repeat the roster verification process with each class roster on your list. In this example, teacher Kelly Marks is an elementary school teacher with a self-contained classroom. She teaches all subjects to the same students. The Copy Students function provides an easy way to make students, months, and percent of instruction the same for all class rosters. Click Actions. Click Copy Students. Click the Continue button to the right of Replace Student Roster. Click Continue. The students, months, and percent of instruction in the From class roster will replace the students, months, and percent of instruction of any class rosters checked in the To box. In this example, all class rosters are checked. Click Continue. Review this screen to be sure that you selected the correct class rosters and options. Then click the Replace Student Roster button. Are you sure you want to make these changes? Click OK. By copying the student roster, all class rosters now have the same students, months, and percent of instruction. The status is changed to In Progress. Click Actions for the Mathematics K-3 class. Click Edit. Verify that the students, months, and percent of instruction are correct. Make changes if needed. Click Save and Submit. The confirmation screen opens. Click OK. Click Actions for the Science Pre-K-3 class. Click Edit. Verify that the students, months, and percent of instruction are correct. Make changes if needed. Click Save and Submit. The confirmation screen opens. Click OK. You have completed this tutorial for the roster verification process. For more information, review the resources documents or contact your school support team.